Hi, this is Shani with the Humane Society of Sedona, and I have 5 tips for you to introduce a shy cat into your home. Tip 1 is to find a room. Tip 2 is to hide all inappropriate hide places. Tip 3 is to provide them with appropriate hide places. Tip 4 is to set up the room for the cat. And tip 5 is to socialize them and get them comfortable. Tip 1 is to find a room that's appropriate for your new cat. The best is to have a spare bedroom that you're not using. You can also use a bathroom as well, but we want to make sure that that bathroom is not being used on a regular basis. We actually have a spare bathroom here that I can show you. If you don't have a spare bedroom, you could also use a bathroom, but we want to make sure that the bathroom is not being regularly used. We want these cats to feel comfortable and safe, so we don't want people coming in and out throughout the day. Some people might have a laundry room that's available, but it really depends on how your laundry room is set up. You need to look at all of the possible dangers for your cat. So for example, our laundry room has this space right here, and then there's a space behind the washer and dryer, and we really do not want cats getting in back of those spaces. It can be very dangerous for them. We also have this water heater here, and even though it doesn't look like a lot of space, sometimes cats can get back in these crevices, and we really don't want that. So if you are going to use a laundry room, you really need to make sure it's safe for them. So if you chose to use the bathroom, you need to again look at the dangers that's possible for the cat and the inappropriate hide places that they might go. So for example, our bathroom has this opening right here, which can be a good hiding place, but you want to make sure that you have access to the cat. It also has many spaces behind the toilet that they could possibly hide, which could be an appropriate place to hide, but you want to make sure that it's safe. You also want to make sure that there's no things that they can get caught up in your bathroom, so it's good to empty everything out and just make sure they're safe. So for this video, we're going to focus on having a spare bedroom, and I'll show you exactly what an inappropriate hide place is and what appropriate hide place is and how to properly set up this room. So all cats like to hide, and we need to provide them with hide spaces that make them feel comfortable. What we don't want is we don't want them hiding in a place where we can't have access to them. The reason being is we want to be able to properly socialize them in a way that's going to be effective. If you have a spare bedroom that has a bed, that's actually great. A bed's very comfortable, and it also will provide some hide places, but you want to provide appropriate hide places. So if a cat goes too far underneath a bed and you're unable to reach them, that becomes an inappropriate hide place. So what I've done for this bed is I've taken some foam, and you can actually use blankets, pillows, or anything, and you're basically just covering the middle of the bed. So they still have access to this space, and they can still hide and feel really comfortable. So a closet can also be a great hide place, but it also can be an inappropriate hide place. So you need to look at your closet, and you need to make sure it's not really cluttered with a lot of junk. We don't want cats climbing in through things, and again, us being unable to access them. If they're too far in your closet and you can't reach them or have any sort of contact with them, that's not going to be very good for socializing. So it can be really great if your closet has doors, but it's also okay if it doesn't have doors. So what I've done is I've provided appropriate hide places for the cats. And these are actually really cheap. They're actually just cardboard boxes. And I've cut a hole, and we've provided blankets on the inside and a cover, so they're slightly covered. This one is also a hide box, but the opening is on this side. We want them to feel fully covered and fully safe. Since boxes are a little bit light, I've actually covered it with a towel to kind of weigh it down and properly secure it. We want to provide at least 3 to 5 inches of bedding. Studies have shown that if animals have 3 to 5 inches of bedding, they get into REM sleep, which makes them very comfortable and more relaxed. So I've provided appropriate hide places underneath this bed. I've added another box that has an opening and some bedding in there. So if a cat is under your bed in an appropriate hide place, you can lower this down and it provides them just a little bit more space and comfort. Ready? Another hide spot is simply you just grab a chair, you cover it with a sheet, and then you put a bed underneath. Again, it doesn't need to be a fancy bed like this. You can just get some blankets and then cover them up so they have an appropriate hide place. This is a wonderful cat tree that has hide boxes installed. There's a hole on this side, and I've simply just taken a blanket and covered this hole so they feel just a little bit more secure. I've also draped this blanket, so if they want it to be here or here, they also can feel extra comfort. Providing a cat tree or a window perch is a great way to build confidence for a cat. Cats need to feel big and not small. When cats are high up, they're able to survey their scene and it makes them feel much more comfortable, especially during this transition. I'm going to show you how to set up a room in the best interest of the cat. We just went over all of the hide places, and we also want to make sure they have food, water, and toys, and of course their litter box. You want to make sure that your cat has food and water. It's okay to have the food and water separate, but you want to make sure that the food and water is as far as possible away from the litter box. Your litter box can be in a corner. I chose this area right here because there's a little bit of a cupboard here for the cat, so when they're going in their litter box, they feel a little bit more protected. Some litter boxes have covers and a cat may prefer that, but sometimes cats who are shy feel a little bit too trapped in a covered litter box. So you'll have to kind of play around with that and see what they prefer. You also want to make sure the cat has toys. Now we have several videos on our YouTube about different toys that you can buy, even toys that you can make at home that are rather cheap. These are some toys that we have here. It's great to have scratchers. We want cats to be able to scratch appropriately, especially if you're worried about them scratching your furniture. You want them to have catnip toys, ball toys maybe, and of course, an assortment of string toys. Another great thing is simply packing paper. Cats love paper, so if you get a package from Amazon and you have all this extra paper, don't throw it away, make a little fort and they'll actually like it. But please keep in mind that it does get loud, so a shy cat might be overwhelmed by the sound, so you'll have to test that out. Another thing that's really simple and easy is cats do like paper. So I have these desk calendars that I don't use anymore, and I just tear them out and I put them on the ground, and cats will like to lay on it. It feels cool, it's smooth, it's just a different surface that cats might like. Also, just balled up pieces of paper and we put them in a box. They like to bat it around. We use tinfoil balls, a bottle cap, some toilet paper that's crunched up. It's just a bunch of different things that cats can use. Toys are so important for cats and their enrichment. It's also going to be really important for your socialization, and I'll show that later. Ready? You'll also want some cat treats, and Temptations are honestly the best treats we've ever used. I have met very little cats who don't like this, so if a cat is food motivated, this is going to be a great way to socialize them. Another thing that you could have is cat grass. Cats love cat grass, and it's just something nice to provide them. Also, catnip. So if you have catnip, that would be great. Usually I will sprinkle it over toys, I'll sprinkle it on beds, and you can see sometimes cats get a little too hyphy with catnip, but from what I've seen, it's really great and they really like it. So let's go over a step-by-step process of actually bringing the cat home. You want the cat in a safe carrier, of course, and you want the carrier covered in a towel. Hopefully the shelter has already done that. If they haven't, please bring a towel just in case. You want to have some comfortable bedding inside the crate and make sure it's covered. So you've adopted the cat, you've brought the cat home, your room is all set up. So what I would do is I would simply put the crate down and face it towards where you want the cat to hide. So let's say I want the cat to hide underneath the bed in this appropriate hide place. So what I would do is I would talk calmly and quietly, let them know that they're okay. I would slowly and carefully open the door and I'm not going to rush them out or expect anything from them. I'm simply going to open the door, put this in front, and that's going to make sure that the door is not going to slam shut and they're not going to be trapped in there. Once you open the crate and you leave it open, you want to give them time to adjust. So it's totally okay to leave for an hour and let them figure things out on their own. Cats really need the time to adjust to a new surrounding. So make sure the door is propped open, go ahead and leave, and then check back in an hour and see how they're doing. This crate is actually just another hide spot, so eventually you can take the door off, but please do not take the door off if the cat is inside the crate. It can just be really loud and scary for them. So once the cat is outside, you can eventually take the door off and then figure out where you want to put this other hide spot, perhaps on the side of the wall or other place. Now let's go over how do you socialize a shy cat. If I have a really shy cat and I'm going to introduce myself, I'm not going to have any expectations on them. I'm actually going to lie on my back, which is a position that's very non-threatening to cats. And I'm just going to place my hand near them. I'm not going to expect to touch them or have them touch me. I'm simply going to lie back, have my hand near them, and just talk to them calmly and softly. Another way is I would lay on my stomach and actually try to get some eye contact from them. A great thing to do is to give them a slow blink. It's a way to communicate to cats to say that you're unthreatening and that you're safe. If you get a slow blink in return, I might actually try to reach out with my index finger towards their nose and see how they react to that. If they pull away, then they're not ready for you yet. But if they come towards you and they rub their nose on your finger, that's a green light that they want to be pet. You want to remember that we need to go at their pace. You need to be very patient and very kind and understanding with them. In the beginning, it's great to just come into the room and do things that you love. So if you love to read, pull up a chair and just read. They will know that you're in the room and they'll know your presence and they'll feel that you're calm and you're not having any expectations. If you like to listen to music and you have soft music, you can sit and just listen to music with them. You can also read to them or even do yoga. Anything that you really, really love and is calming to you is going to be calming to them. Another way to socialize a cat is through playing. You want one that has a wand and that's really, really long so you can provide some distance between you and the cat. It's just less threatening to them and they're focused on the toy and not your hands. So if the cat is underneath the bed, I might just start playing with them and seeing if they want to play. If they play with you, great. I would do it for at least 20 minutes or until they get tired. Another thing is great is treats. You can give them one at a time without any expectations, but try to spread them out. You might give one and then look at them, give another and offer your finger, but I wouldn't do too much petting or expect too much from them in the beginning. Just give them treats and let them eat them happily. So what we're doing with treats and playing and music and calmness is you're pairing yourself with positive things. So we don't want to have a lot of expectations because that's going to come off as too demanding to them and they might back away. Another thing is if you're feeding them wet food is to feed them wet food and then sit with them while they eat. If they refuse to eat after 10 minutes, it's okay to leave and then come back later. We want them to feel comfortable to eat. It's best in the beginning to provide them dry food throughout the day and wet food in the morning and the night. Eventually you can change that, but we want to make sure that they're eating and they're comfortable. It's okay to leave cats alone for long periods of time. We actually want to do that. We want them to feel safe and comfortable and we don't want to overwhelm them with our presence. So in the beginning, you can do twice a day, 20-minute sessions of interaction or playing, giving them treats or laying with them, playing music, reading to them. We want them to have opportunities to just relax and be alone. If you don't see progress in a week, please reach out to the shelter that you adopted the animal from, or you can even contact us. Now, sometimes the progress is going to be really small, and that's okay. Now, please be patient during this time. Please understand that some of these cats have been through a lot and they may need that extra time to relax and trust you again. Some of these cats may have been abused by humans or just not properly socialized. So please, it takes at least a month for a cat to fully relax, and sometimes more than that. Please realize that these animals are living creatures. They have feelings and they have emotions very similar to ours. So imagine if you're living in a home and all of a sudden you're surrendered, or maybe you're living outside and all of a sudden you're in a shelter. It can be very confusing. And then all of a sudden you're adopted and you're in a completely new space. You don't know this person, you don't know the space, you don't know the smells. So please try to put yourself in their shoes and understand that it's just going to take some time and patience. These cats will come around and they will love you. You just need to give them that love and consideration. Once you get to a place where when you enter the room, the cat comes out to greet you, they feel comfortable, they look relaxed, you might want to start introducing them to the rest of the house. That is the goal. We don't want to keep cats in these small spaces. Now understand, we don't want to introduce them too soon. I think the assumption is that cats want a lot of space, when in fact, a lot of space can be really overwhelming for a new cat. So that's why we start them in a small space first and get them to be comfortable and to trust us. If we introduce them to a big space too soon, you might have to start all over again. We don't want a cat running around the house and again hiding in inappropriate places. So you might wonder, when is the appropriate time to introduce them to the rest of the house? I think if you walk into the room and they greet you happily and they feel very comfortable and they're rolling around and you can tell that they are very comfortable with you and they trust you, you might want to slowly introduce them into the house. And it might be at first that you give them short periods. So maybe for 20 minutes you let them explore the house and you see how they react. If you feel like they're still a little bit uncomfortable, you might want to just do 20 minutes and then back in the room. But if you let them out into the house and immediately they're on top of the furniture and they feel really comfortable, maybe it's time to graduate outside of the small room. If you let the cat out of the room and they immediately feel stressed and they begin to hide, it's probably too soon and you want them back in the room. First, let them just chill, let them calm down. We don't want to chase the cat around in the house. Let them hide for a little bit, open the door to the room and see if they come back on their own. If after a few hours they don't, you might want to place the crate in front of the hide spot with the door open and they might very well go in on their own. The shelter experience can be extremely stressful for animals, especially cats. They are just a little bit more sensitive than dogs sometimes. There are many, many shy cats in shelters right now, and I encourage you to give these cats a chance. They deserve a loving home. They just need a little bit more patience and time to adjust to their environment. In the end, it's going to be worth it for both of you.